Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business. Well, hello, this is Hal Coleman, and welcome to another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast, uncensored and unplugged. In this episode, we're going to talk about my very favorite subject, selling, okay? Now, last week I presented my 30-second selling workshop to a group of small business people, and it just reaffirmed the fact that, with rare exceptions, small business owners and salespeople just don't take selling nearly as seriously as they should. And because they don't, they lose sales day after day, month after month, and year after year. And that is just a fact. So let me ask you this question. How seriously do you take selling? Do you have a sales presentation? Is it written out? Is it a powerful, compelling, dynamic, hypnotic, seductive, proven, well thought out, scripted presentation laid out in the proper psychological sequence, guaranteed to generate a yes almost every time? Do you have that? And if you do, can you deliver it with purpose and with conviction and with passion, like an Academy Award performance, even in your sleep? Okay? Now, no matter what industry you're in, when you get to the top sales performers, and I mean the world-class salespeople who win the national awards every year, they all have certain things in common. One of them is they take selling very seriously, okay? They are constantly working on their sales presentations. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, their mind is on their sales presentation. Top performers know that every word, every inflection, and every variation is equally important in their sales presentation. They know that presentation and every inflection, every word, backwards and forwards, up one side and down the other. They know it by heart. They can deliver it in the middle of a hurricane and never miss a beat, because to them it is an Academy Award performance, okay? World-class sellers have notebooks or recorders or iPhones with them every minute, and when they hit on another idea or another angle, they capture it and they work it into their sales presentation. They tweak it in there. They never stop sharpening and honing their sales presentations. World-class performers are never satisfied that their presentation is as good as it could be. They never believe that. They wake up in the middle of the night to write down ideas or write down a new concept, and then they wake up in the morning and they go over it and they study it and see if it's right to blend in with their sales presentation. World-class performers never take selling for granted, okay? They never take it for granted. They track every sale, every lead, every contact, and every conversation. They keep track of it all, and they keep track of their progress. They post-analyze every sales presentation they make. They go over it in their mind after it's over with to see how they could have made it better, especially if they were told no. They want to know why they were told no so that they don't get told no again for that same reason. World-class salespeople are very spiritual and superstitious when it comes to selling and when it comes to their presentation. An example of that would be if you've ever watched a baseball player, a professional baseball player. You'll see one of them walk up to the batter's box, and he'll readjust the glove on each hand. He'll readjust his cap. He will tweak his shirt collar. He will stretch his neck back and forth. He'll maybe even reach down and scratch a certain way every time, okay, before he steps into the batter's box. And when the pitcher throws the pitch, even if he doesn't swing at that pitch, he steps out of the batter's box, he readjusts both gloves, he readjusts the cap, the shirt, he scratches, he does everything before he steps back in. You see, he will not allow someone to throw him a pitch without being ready for it. He knows what total perfection feels like. He has that confidence level in perfection, and he knows what it is, so he refuses to face a baseball without everything being perfect, because he knows when it's perfect, that's when he stands the greatest chance of making contact with that baseball. My mentor, Larry Latimer, used to tell me the story about when he was selling and training people to sell life insurance. There was a guy in his region that everyone called the Legend. That was his nickname. He'd been with the company for 24 years, and for the last 12 years he had been the top salesman for life insurance. And Larry said every day a salesman was expected to have 5 appointments set up every day, and he would go out and do a presentation. Now, if he could close 3 out of 5 on average, he could make a really good living selling life insurance. If he could only close 2 out of 5, he was going to have to find something else to do. And if he could average closing 4 out of 5, he was going to get rich selling life insurance, okay? So Larry had the Legend come down to do a presentation for his sales staff. And Larry actually set up 5 appointments that next day and gave those appointments to the Legend. He said, here, you just go out and meet with these people, and I want to be with you, and I want to watch you do your presentation. So he did, and he said the Legend closed 4 out of 5 sales that day. And Larry said after about the third one, they went out and they got in the car, and he said, let me ask you something. He said, when you were in there talking to that lady a while ago, you said, in the 12 years I've been with this company, yada, yada, yada. And the guy said, yes. Larry said, well, I thought you've been with the company for 24 years. He said, I have. He said, well, why did you tell her that in the 12 years you've been with the company? And Larry said, the guy looked at him, and he said, Larry, the number 12 has been working so good for so long, I ain't about to change that number. You see, this guy they referred to as the Legend, in his 12th year with the company, he finally got his presentation so sharp and so perfect, and it was working so well that he wouldn't change anything. He wouldn't even change the number of years he had been with the company. That's what world-class performers do. That's how they think, okay? They're very spiritual and very superstitious when it comes to their presentation. World-class salespeople never expect to be told no under any circumstances. Of course, sometimes they are told no, but when they are, it surprises them. And they really spend a lot of time and effort trying to figure out why that happened to prevent it from happening again. They never expect to be told no. They never stop learning how to improve their selling skills and increase their closing percentages. It's just a constant with them. They are laser focused on selling. If they're not out selling, they're probably working on their sales presentation. They never stop working on it. They never stop sharpening and honing that presentation. And most important of all, they never give up. They never give up on a sale. Statistics show that 82% of people make a purchase after from 5 to 12 exposures to a product. Those same statistics and tests also show that 91% of salespeople give up after 2 to 4 contacts. What does that tell you? It tells you something that's very disturbing, that apparently 82% or 91% of salespeople give up on 82% of the sales because they just quit on it, okay? World-class salespeople never give up. Larry Latimer once told me there are only 3 times you give up on a sale. He said that's the people either buy, they die, or they get an unlisted phone number. Unless one of those happens, you keep following up. You keep following up, okay? You never give up on a sale. So let me ask you this question. How much time do you spend learning how to sell more and learning how to sell better? How much time and effort do you really put into that? It doesn't matter whether you're in a full-time sales position or whether you just want to sell your boss on an idea. Or if you're a boss, maybe you want to sell your employees on a specific idea you have. Or maybe you just want to persuade your spouse or your child or your neighbor or your friend to do a specific thing. You need to know how to sell. We're all selling all the time, okay? And in professional sales, winging it and just playing it off of the cuff will only get you so far. That's it. It'll work good one day. It won't work well the next day. It'll work pretty well with one prospect. It'll be a flop with the next prospect, okay? If you're just winging it, you are losing sales day after day, month after month, and year after year. That's just a fact. If you rely only on the art of selling and you ignore the science of selling, you'll never reach your true potential, okay? And you'll leave a ton of business on the table for the other guys who do take selling very seriously. So that's just the way it is. Hey, if you want to take your selling up to a whole new level, I'll tell you what, if you're serious about it, give me a call and tell me you listened to this podcast. I'll treat you to a free 1-hour sales coaching session with me. It won't cost you a penny. And I guarantee you'll come away with some great insights on how to increase your sales and get new customers, more new customers. So if you're serious about it, give me a call at 770-993-0004. Let's talk. I look forward to hearing from you. This is Hal Coleman. Thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope it was helpful to you, and I also hope you have a great day.